Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to share my recent gouache painting practice. This is actually my first time showing my process with gouache. I have been using watercolor for a long time, but sometimes I just want to try something different. A new medium always brings fresh inspiration and creative energy. For today's video, I will be painting 4 landscape pieces over 4 days. Along the way, I will also be sharing my thoughts and everything I learned throughout the process. I'm using 300 grams cotton paper cold pressed, along with a few synthetic brushes in size 2, 4, and 6. For paint, I'm using nickel poster color, which feels just like traditional gouache, Holbein's white acrylic gouache, and Art Spectrum's black gouache. Before mixing my colors, I like to mix my palette with water before adding the paint. This helps keep the paint workable for a long time. Time to lay down the sky. At this stage, the paint doesn't need to be too dry. It makes blending the color transitions much smoother. For this piece, my main focus is on the snow-covered mountains in the background. Mountain painting is not my strong suit, so I really want to practice and improve. For the forest in the background, I started by painting some trees with a deep green, then layer a lighter green in the foreground. On the first day, I work with relatively dry paint because I want to capture a lot of details. But later, on the day 3, I experimented with a wet-on-wet approach, more like watercolor. Looking back at this first painting now, I can definitely see that the colors feel a bit lacking in variation compared to what I learned in day 3. Let's move on day 2. Since my day 1 painting turned out a bit dark and cold-toned, I wanted to use a warmer color today. I chose a glowing sunset landscape as my reference photo. This time, I simplified the details in the mountains and decided to use a flat brush for the background. I wanted the painting to feel a little bit more relaxed and a more loose style. During my day 2 practice, I feel like I finally learned how to enjoy the painting process instead of getting stuck on tiny details. I focused more on the overall color harmony and the atmosphere, rather than obsessing over individual elements. Here, my approach to painting the river was pretty rough. I don't think I really captured the texture of the water in this painting. That is why on day 3, I challenged myself with a waterfall. I think I made a lot more progress in painting water at day 3. On to day 3. This time I chose a waterfall reference because I wanted to experiment with a wet-on-wet technique to capture the texture of water. Through this gouache practice, I've started to understand how to control water content better. I realized that mixing gouache also requires careful water control, just like watercolor. In the first 2 days, I was using relatively dry paint, but instead of achieving a bright and vivid look. So for day 3, I'm trying a new approach. Here, I wet the paper first, just like with watercolor, to help the pen blend and spirit more smoothly. On the wet paper, the gouache spreads like watercolor. That really captures the look of water. In day 3's practice, I learned a wet-on-wet technique that works for both gouache and watercolor. I really recommend to give it a try. It's so much fun. Finally, it's day 4. After working with the rich, vibrant colors in the first 3 paintings, I thought it would be nice to end with a snowy scene. This one features a winter forest, and I want to use simple colors to capture the clean, crisp lines of the bare trees. After 4 days and 4 paintings, I feel much more familiar with gouache, especially when it comes to painting small-sized landscapes. I can definitely feel the difference between day 1 and day 4. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are trying gouache, or if you have been using watercolor for a while and feel like a bit stuck, I really recommend giving gouache a try. It's another water-based medium that can offer you a whole new painting experience. If you like the video on my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.